He threw the wildest parties, walked red carpets with royalty, and turned unknown artists into icons. But now, Sean "Diddy" Combs isn't dancing in the spotlight, he's pacing in a jail cell. Once a billionaire music mogul, now accused of running a sex trafficking empire that spanned decades. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. This could be one of the biggest criminal cases in entertainment history. He had the money, the power, the fame. So why did he reject the one thing that could have saved him, a plea deal? On April 30, 2025, inside a packed Manhattan federal courtroom, Sean "Diddy" Combs rejected a final plea deal from federal prosecutors. He stood motionless as his attorneys confirmed, "Mr. Combs intends to proceed to trial." The courtroom fell silent. Facing multiple charges, sex trafficking, racketeering, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering, Combs had just refused an agreement that would have spared him a life sentence. His fate will now be decided by a jury. The trial begins May 5th. Prosecutors call it a decades-long criminal enterprise. The defense calls it a witch hunt. Sean "Love" Combs, born in Harlem in 1969, is more than a rapper or producer. He's an architect of modern hip-hop culture. He lost his father, allegedly a drug dealer, to gun violence at age 2. Raised by a hard-working single mother, he clawed his way up from intern at Uptown Records to founding Bad Boy Entertainment in 1993. With names like Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Maze under his wing, Diddy became a mogul. He launched clothing lines, vodka brands, and TV empires. His net worth ballooned to over $1 billion. But behind the luxury jets and champagne towers, allegations whispered in the shadows. Allegations that now scream across courtrooms and headlines. The first public crack came from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend and protege. In November 2023, Cassie filed a bombshell lawsuit. She accused Combs of rape, repeated beatings, forced drug use, and sex trafficking. Their relationship, which lasted from 2007 to 2018, was described as a prison of luxury. Cassie wrote, "He controlled what I wore, who I spoke to, and when I ate. I was his puppet, dressed up, drugged up, and passed around like property." The case settled within 24 hours. But the floodgates opened. 4 more women filed lawsuits in the following months. Some from as far back as the late 90s. Some were underage at the time. One anonymous accuser described being flown to Miami at age 17 for a party where she was drugged and assaulted by multiple men, including Combs. Prosecutors now allege that Combs ran an underground sex trafficking network through a system of enablers, personal assistants, security guards, event planners, music industry insiders. At the center were what insiders call freak-offs, exclusive, invite-only parties where drugs flowed and boundaries vanished. Victims allege being coerced with pills, forced to perform for high-profile guests, threatened with blackmail if they spoke out. Combs allegedly used private jets to transport victims across state lines, triggering federal jurisdiction under the Mann Act. Surveillance footage, emails, and recovered texts detail a system that mimicked criminal rackets. In court documents and interviews, victims describe years of psychological torment. "He said if I ever talked, no one would find me." Victim B, 2024 civil complaint. Several allege being filmed without consent, their careers threatened if they didn't comply. Some are now in therapy, battling PTSD, anxiety, and substance abuse. One therapist testifying for the prosecution described the victims as having clear signs of prolonged coercive control, comparable to hostage survivors. This wasn't just sexual violence, it was systematic psychological warfare. No empire runs alone. Prosecutors say Combs used an inner circle to recruit, groom, silence, and dispose of victims. One ex-bodyguard turned whistleblower testified to the grand jury. "Everything ran through Puff. We had a rule. No phones, no names, no mistakes." Former employees say they were threatened, paid off, or fired when they raised concerns. Some claim NDAs were forced upon them. But now, several have flipped, offering emails, videos, and ledgers that show hush payments, drug orders, and encrypted party invites. This wasn't a chaotic celebrity lifestyle, it was organized criminal behavior. In March 2025, Homeland Security raided 2 of Combs' mansions, one in Los Angeles, the other in Miami. They seized dozens of hard drives, private servers, security camera footage, a vault of handwritten notes. Agents also uncovered what they called a panic room in the Miami home, stocked with unregistered weapons and burner phones. Combs was arrested during the raid. His lawyers called it a political stunt. But the evidence kept coming. When shown partial footage of a 2016 hotel incident, where Combs is seen kicking and dragging Cassie, one juror reportedly said, "It changed everything." The deal was simple. Plead guilty to 2 racketeering charges, serve 15 years, and surrender assets. But Combs refused. Why? Insiders point to ego, legacy, and fear of total asset forfeiture. Others suggest he's gambling on jury nullification or using his influence to sway the trial. His legal team claims the charges are racially motivated and built on discredited testimonies. They accuse the FBI of violating his civil rights. Still, legal analysts warn, the mountain of evidence is growing, and rejecting the deal could be legal suicide. The trial will feature a star-studded and explosive witness list. Cassie Ventura, testifying for the first time in public. Jane Doe 3, who claims she was trafficked from Atlanta to Las Vegas. Former bodyguard, K.O., who documented party routines. FBI digital forensics expert, expected to present decrypted footage. The prosecution says they have over 50 exhibits, including private journals, GPS flight logs, and victim testimonies. The defense strategy: discredit everyone. Paint Combs as a consensual swinger, targeted for money and fame. But with video evidence already admitted, that may not be enough. The music industry is watching silently. Few artists have spoken out. Some fear backlash. Others fear they'll be next. Online, fans are torn, some defending Diddy, others demanding justice. This case is more than celebrity gossip. It forces hard questions about power abuse in entertainment, industry silence, accountability across race and class lines. And what happens when a black mogul, long seen as untouchable, is finally dragged into the light? Experts say Combs' alleged tactics mirror those of cult leaders and traffickers. Love bombing, lavishing victims with gifts before isolating them. Gaslighting, manipulating them to doubt reality. Fear conditioning, using violence or threats to maintain control. To the public, he was Diddy, charming, flashy, harmless. To victims, he was a god they couldn't escape. "I thought he loved me," one woman said. "But he owned me." The trial begins May 5th, expected to last 8 to 10 weeks. If convicted, Diddy could face life in prison, permanent asset seizure, civil suits from over 20 plaintiffs. If acquitted, public outrage could erupt. No plea deals are expected moving forward. Prosecutors are confident. The world is watching. In a trial that could rewrite music history, we'll learn who Diddy really was, a victim of fame or a predator hiding in plain sight. One thing is certain, when the truth is finally revealed, it won't just be Sean Combs on trial. It'll be the entire system that lets him rise. Backhand Index Pointing Right. Subscribe for full trial coverage and weekly deep dives.